I love his mouth with his tongue hanging out and his wild look. I've been there. I'm Cynthia Lazaris, and I collect wax. I love everything rare, weird, and wonderful. I have been spending my entire life traversing swap meets, garage sales, and auctions, looking for the newest piece to add to my collection. If you look around the room, there's a little bit of everything. Join me on my journey to find the weird and the wonderful. Hi everybody. Look around the room. Do you see some familiar faces? But everybody is still here and they've been waiting for you. Now, you've probably wondered where I went. Well, I got cancer, breast cancer. But I was gone for a while. I took care of it. I got treatment. I'm okay, and I'm back. I'd like to thank all of my viewers, all the support that I got. I continue to get a lot of comments on the show. I wanted to do the show, but I had absolutely no energy to do it. And thank God that I had my wax to lean on for support, to make me feel good and alive. Even though it seems kind of crazy, this is the way I live in my life. And if I didn't have this, I would probably go crazy. So all you collectors out there, I'm sure you feel the same way about how I feel, that they're my friends and I can talk to them if I need to or whatever. But I'm back. Even though I was out of service and I was going through all that treatment, which was chemotherapy, and I lost all my hair, if you can imagine, and it's just now grown back. And I had to go through radiation. But that did not stop me. I was able to acquire 25 new wax heads, plus up there I have a brand new wax figure of Danny Kaye. And you're going to get to see him in a future episode. It's coming up quick. But if you look behind me, I have all these heads, and I want to show you some of my favorite ones. There's a mixture of heads from Jim Studios, Pierre Imens, and if you'll look closer, they're sitting on the original table from Frankenstein at Movieland Wax Museum in Buena Park. I was able to get the original lab table that held Frankenstein, and I just love it. And with that, I was able to make a backdrop. I've got the original sconces with the flickering lights, which ties in perfectly with my Phantom of the Opera set. And I mean, it's just like, wow, how could this happen? And I'm hoping to be able to one day get a Frankenstein to put next to it. Now, I've had to use this table to display all my heads. And Tom Fowler, my friend, which is a wax restoration artist, and he lives up in Sacramento, he's able to give me some new heads. I've got Rudolph Valentino, William S. Hart, Ken Maynard. These are all pieces that were at Movieland Wax Museum. The first one I'd like you to see is Napoleon Bonaparte. He's from England and he came out of one of the museums. He's a Jim Studio piece. And I have plans to get him a body, which remember, they're not all wax figures. They're mannequin bodies attached to a wax head. That's going to be an episode coming up on how I attach my wax heads to a mannequin body. And then I'm going to get him a costume, and I'm hoping to get a painting of Napoleon and put him in front of it, something like the Palace of the Living Art, which was at Movieland Wax Museum. But this is just a beautiful piece. If you'll notice, he has hand-punched hair, and he's got real glass eyes. And Jim Studios, they did a lot of historical pieces. So I can just imagine where this was in the museum. He's a beautiful wax head. I'm very excited about my new Piri man's head. He's a little whimsical, kind of unusual looking guy. As you can see, he's got hand-punched hair, but it's kind of all fallen off. He's quite old, but I'm going to make him into a bellboy. I happen to have from Desilu Studios quite a bit of costumes. And one of them is a bellboy costume that was used during the 60s in one of the episodes that they were shooting. It could have been on the Dick Van Dyke Show, it could have been on Lucy, anything that was shooting those shows back in those times. And I'm going to stand him at the front door, so he's going to greet everybody, and he's going to be taking care of all the things that I need to have taken care of in here. So if I need somebody to run an errand, this is my man. This is an interesting piece. The person that had given me this head, they got it from actually a classic car auction. Now, I'm not sure if this came from Niagara Falls, New York Wax Museum, but this piece was actually like a Vamp, a flapper girl, and it was used next to an old 1920s classic car. And she stood next to it in one of her Vamp costumes. And I'm not sure, but I would love to be able to make her into either like a flapper girl, something from the 1920s. As I told you, I do have a Rudolph Valentino head, and maybe she might work perfectly in that set. This is a very interesting piece, and as you can hear it, and I wouldn't be touching it if it was wax like this, but this piece came from Copenhagen, and it's marked on the back Henry Alvarez, which was an artist that did quite a bit of monster work. He also did a lot of work for Movieland Wax Museum, but he also, his input in the Louis Tussauds of Copenhagen. And this piece was either a Mother Goose or a nursery tale or something where she was incorporated with children like Mother Hubbard or Mother Goose, and you could tell by just her headpiece. I love this guy's face. It just tells a whole story. He's made in France, and he's just got this wonderful, whimsical look to himself. What do you think? Would you like to see him as a pirate, or should he be like maybe a poet that's sitting and maybe sitting somewhere up on the banister? Or what do you think? Gosh, there's so many ideas that this guy, I love that he has the open mouth with his teeth, and he's got his glass eyes, and as you can tell, it's hand-punched hair. I just love the quality that's been put into him. And tell me what you think. Look how long her neck is. This is Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. A friend of mine, Ken Horn, gave her to me. She's kind of wax over plaster, but oh my gosh, isn't she beautiful? And he was hoping that I could be able to switch up the heads on my Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, because this one looks more like her. She's got a great wig, which I've got to fix, and I just love her look. And you can tell that the neck can't be cut because it's all metal inside, and it would just absolutely hack the head up, as you can see. But this piece is just beautiful. I love this guy. I love his look. I'm sure he was probably used in a torture chamber, but he came out of the Niagara Falls, New York Wax Museum. Now, he's not wax. He's made out of some sort of a material like a resin, and he's got this crazy wig on, but I could just imagine where he was used in the torture chamber. I love his mouth with his tongue hanging out and his wild look. I've been there, but anyways, I'm just saying, I just love this piece, and I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but maybe he can be hanging on a rack or something, but I love him. Now, I love this guy. I think he would be perfect as a colonial person, something maybe during the witch trials. He's got that determined look on his face, and he's all wax, and I don't know who did him, if he's Jim's or who, but oh, I just love him, just the way he looks. I could just imagine him sitting in a courtroom saying, "Burn those witches." Even though my life has been kind of crazy and on the down low, I do have some wonderful and exciting things that I've got to share with you. So please stay with me and watch my new episodes coming out. I'm totally excited about everything that I've got to show you. And thank you again for all the support and hanging in there with me. It's been a long time. Who knows what could have happened to me? But I'm back.